Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. On this episode we're going to learn how to build a fully functional to-do list with features like create, read, update, delete, and even task completion. All will be powered by Laravel 10 and Livewire 3 alongside with Laravel Breeze for a seamless authentication system integration. Okay guys, with that said, let's quickly take a look at what the app looks like. To get started, we have to log in with a registered user account by providing the email and password of the user. So once the user login, we're able to see a to-do that he or she created, and we're able to manage his own personal to-do. He's not going to see any other person's to-do apart from his own. So let's quickly add a new to-do. Let's add one. And you can simply edit this to-do. And when you click on edit and you don't want to edit to do, again, you can simply click on cancel and you can mark any to do to be completed. And even if you refresh the page, it's still going to be completed. You can as well delete any to do that you don't want. And again, if you install Laravel Breeze, it's going to come with a profile management page, where they'll be able to edit their name, email address, and also change their password. And they can as well delete their account if they don't want the account again. And they'll be able to also log out from the system after managing their to-do. So guys, if you found this tutorial helpful and informative, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon to get notified anytime we post a new video. Okay guys, we are going to start by creating a fresh Laravel project and install Laravel Breeze to start with. So for you to be able to install Laravel 10 and Livewire 3, you have to make sure that you have PHP 8.1 and above running on your system. So let's quickly install the Laravel using the Laravel command. We are going to name it Laravel Livewire 2. So you have to wait for it to install. Okay, the Laravel have finished installing. Now next we are going to see the inside the project that we just created. Then we are going to install the Laravel Breeze, which comes along with Livewire 3. So we head to the Laravel official documentation to get instructions on how to install the Laravel Breeze. So first, we are going to use the composer require Laravel Breeze. I'm going to copy this. I will drop this link to the description of this video. Copy and paste. Then wait for it to finish installing. Okay, it has finished installing. After installing, we are going to use the next command, which is php artisan breeze install, to install the Laravel Breeze. Okay, this will prompt us to choose the stack we want to use for the project. I'm going to choose the second one, which is Livewire Foot Class API. It's fine. Do you want dark mode? Yes, I want dark mode. Which testing framework? I think I'll choose PHP unit. I have to wait for it to finish installing. Okay, that's it. That's finished installing. Okay, next I forgot. If you want to use the command that I used initially to install to create the Laravel project, which is Laravel new, then the name of the project, you have to make sure that you have Laravel installer installed in your system. But if you don't have that, you can use the composer create the Laravel project. But you have to make sure you also have composer installed on your system. So next we are going to open the project in our code editor. So we are going to be using VS Code for this project. Okay, after creating the Laravel project, we already opened it in our code editor, which is VS Code. So next we are going to set up our database credential, which is inside the .env. I've already created a database named Livewire Todo App. Then my password, and that's it to save it. Next, we're going to create the models and migrations that we're going to use for the app. So the first model we're going to create is going to be the to-do model, which will use the command php artisan make model to do. Then you pass in the m flag to also create a migration by creating the model. Hit enter. Now the model and the migrations are created. Let's go to the migration file. Let's create the columns that we need, the fields that we need for the database on the to-do table. So first, since we're going to have a relationship with the user, we are going to have a user ID field on the to-do table. Then let's create a relationship. So we're going to use the foreign. It should be on the user ID. Then references, which is the ID of the user. Then on which table? On the users table. Then lastly, we're going to tell Laravel to delete the to-do once the user is deleted. Cascade. So whenever a user is deleted on the project, Laravel will automatically look for the user's to-dos and delete all of them. So all the to-dos that belongs to the user. So next we're going to add the to-do column, which will be to-do. And lastly, we're going to add the boolean fed, which will check when the to-do is completed. So it's going to be is completed, and by default it's going to be default value, which is going to be false. So once the to-do is created, it's going to be false. Of course, it's not going to be completed once it's created, so the user have to toggle it to be completed. So I think this is all we need for the to-do table. So for the users table, it has already been created for us by Laravel Breeze. So, and all the fields that we need at the meantime is already there. Okay, next let's clear on the migration using the artisan command. Okay, all the tables have been created. Let's go to the models to create a relationship between the user and the to-do. So we're going to go to the model. We have to model here to do. So on the to-do, we're going to first let's do this to Laravel to allow mass assign while we are creating the to-do. So next we're going to create a function that will create a relationship between the it's going to create a relationship. This belongs to a user. Next, we are going to head over to the user model to also add the relationship there. So here I'm going to create a function and say to-dos. I'm going to return. This is going to be a one-to-many relationship. This has many to-dos. And we are done with the relationship. Okay, let's quickly start the project and see what we've got using PHP Artisan SAP. Okay, and this is what we have here. So next we are going to start with dashboard, where we'll be able to create the markup for the user to add their to-do. Let's quickly register an account to log into the dashboard. And here is our dashboard. So like I said, once we install the Laravel Breeze, it's going to scaffold everything for us, and all the login, the registrations have been set up for us, and we also have a profile page out of the box. So as you can see how easy it is to be able to create a login system using Laravel Breeze. So let's head over to the dashboard again, and here we're going to create a markup that we're going to use to add the to-do. So once user logs in, it's going to be able to access the page where you'll be able to create and manage the to-dos. So let's go over to the code editor again. So next we are going to create a Livewire component by using the command php artisan make Livewire. We're going to call it to do, and that's it. It has been created for us. So once you create a Livewire component, it's going to create two files. One is the component itself, the class, and it's going to also create a view, the blade file inside the Livewire. So here you can see the to do. Next we're going to let's go to the dashboard blade file. So this is the dashboard blade file. So let me quickly remove everything that is here, and let me use Livewire and add the component that we just created. So to add a component to the to any of the blade file, you use this Livewire syntax to add it using the add symbol. So right now we're going to be able to see the Livewire component inside the dashboard. So let's save this and let me refresh. Nothing is there currently, so let's try and type something inside the to do component. Let me say h1. This is Livewire component. Let's see h1. Let's see what we have. There's nothing here. Okay, this is it. But it seems like you're not able to change the color, so it's in the black. So as you can see, we already have our component there. So if you use by default, if you install Laravel Breeze, it's going to come along with tailwindcss, so you can call up the tailwind classes. Okay, to confirm if tailwind is actually working, let's call up one of the tailwind classes here. Let me say text queen 600. Let's refresh and see what we've got. Okay, tailwind is correctly installed. Okay, let's go back to the dashboard to set up. Let me bring back the whole thing back. Okay, I'm going to put the component inside here. Let's see how it is now. Okay, fine. So here we're going to let's go back to the to do. So let me remove this. I already have the markup that we're going to use. The markup has the form input, then the list of to dos that will appear on the dashboard. So let me quickly paste the markup here. So and save it. Let me refresh. Okay, there's it. This is a simple HTML markup, and with a couple of Laravel predefined components, blade components that is been that came alongside with its Laravel Breeze that we installed. So you can use the reusable component that's Breeze installed automatically when you install the Breeze. So some of the components is the primary button, the input error, which will display the error message if there is any. Then secondary button, which you already have here. So this is actually the pre-installed component that came along with Laravel Breeze. So I think that's it for the markup. So let me go to dashboard. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Let me close everything up. And okay, to stay organized, I'm going to create a repository, a to-do repository, where we're going to handle all our database transactions and the database processes. So I'm going to create inside the app, inside the app directory, create another folder called repo. You can call it anything, but I choose repo. Then inside the repo, I create another file called to do repo.php. Then we're going to create repo here. So use the namespace app plus name. Okay. So the first method we're going to create inside the repo is going to be the save method, which will actually save the to do. Inside it, we're going to pass the data that we're going to save. Then we're going to create the to do. Create to do. Remember, inside our model, let me go back to the user model. We already have a to-dos relationship, so we can actually use it inside our auth. So using the since the user have to be logged in before you'll be able to create the to-do, so we are free to use the auth class and the user. And inside the user, we have a relationship called to-dos. So inside it, we can call a create method to actually create the to-do. Then passing the data. That's it. This will ensure that a user that is logged in be able to create his or her own to do, and that's any conflict about the user ID. So automatically on inside the database is going to pass in the user ID and the user ID column of the to-dos table. So let's check if the to-do was created successfully. Sorry, if created, create to-do, return create to-do. Okay, this is just the simple method and that we're going to use to create the to-do. So let's go over to the to-do. Sorry, to the to-do class, which is inside the Livewire folder. So inside it, I'm going to inject the repo inside the to-do class. We're going to create a property called repo. Then we're going to call the boot function inside the Livewire component and eject the to-do repo. Which pass it to do the repo. So this is after passing you can now assign the repo to this repo. So you can use every method that is attached to this repo in this Livewire component after injecting it. So you can let's hold on a bit. When I start creating the to do, you'll see how you can actually use the repository to create the to do. So the next property I'm going to create, which will be the to do property. And the to do by default is going to be empty. So next we're going to run the validation. So we're going to use the rule validation. To accept the validation parameters, which is required, minimum of you can say 3. You can use any one of your choice. You cannot forget to import the rule. Last that should be Livewire attributes rule. Okay, it's been imported, so this will run the validation for us. So next we are going to create a method that we are going to use to save the to do. So let's create another function which will be add to do. It's actually going to add the to do. So we are going to call the method inside the repo, which is the save method. First we have to run the validation. So to get the validation we have to pass the validated data to this variable, so that we're able to pass it to the save method inside the repo repository class that we created. So to be more secure, you have to make sure that you are only passing the validated values, so that you don't save what is not validated inside your database. And so to run the validation, we're going to call it this validate only. So we're going to validate only the to do. So you can actually pass the validated data inside the report to now save it. So after saving it, we are going to clear the value of the to do, so that the form will be empty to add another one. I think that's it for adding of to do. So let's go to the blade file, Livewire blade. Inside it, we're going to add the wire, what they bind it, which you have to do. Then you have wire submit, that's prevent. Which we call the add to do class. So let's try to add to do and see what happens. New to do. Okay, let's go to our database and see if the to do was added. Let me refresh this. Go to to dos. Okay, as you can see, it was added, and it's completed to 0. So let's the next we're going to create another method inside the. Okay, let's try the validation error if it's going to work first before we try to fetch. So this will display the validation error if there is any. So let me try to submit without putting then. Okay, as you can see, it works. So the to do field is required. So let's try to put something that is not up to 3. Okay, the to do field must be at least 3 characters. So the validation is perfectly working. So next we're going to fetch the to do that has been created. So let's go to the to do repo again and create another method called. So we're going to call the method fetch all to do. So we are going to return all the to-dos that belongs to that user. So we are going to make use of the auth helper class, helper method, sorry. So to do that, we're going to start the to-dos. Should be auth user. Remember, we still have our relationships, which is to-dos. You can set the test. Then you can paginate the to-do. Maybe let me say for now, let me say 10. Then you can go ahead to return the to-dos. Okay, that's it for the fetch all method. So let's go back to the to-do. So to pass the to-dos that have been created, remember, if you're using pagination, you have to pass it on the render method for it to work. So if you don't use the if you don't pass it on the render method, you might have challenges working with the pagination. So let me go to that. To-dos equals to this. We see have our repo method, which should be fetch all, and we can actually pass it here. Compat should be to-dos, and we can actually access it here. Let me remove one of these. I think here to here. Then let me copy this from here to here. Then there is 4s. Okay. 4s. To-dos. Then we're going to use the empty, then and for s loop. So and let's have our class here. So for s to do as to do. Then inside here we're going to pass our to do. And they should work. Let's go to there and see. Okay, as you can see it works. So next okay, let's add one more to do and see what happens. Second to do, as you can see it's been added successfully. So the add to do is perfectly working. So I think this is actually too close to too close to this. Okay, let me use break. Okay, that's fine. Next we're going to add the pagination. So to add the pagination, you have to go back to the Livewire components. Here you're going to use the with pagination thread, with pagination. Make sure you also import the with pagination thread before using it. So on this place, you're going to put the pagination here. I think this should work. Okay, let's add more to do, then paginate it. Okay, let's paginate it. Let's go over to the to-do repo. Let's say try pagination. Refresh and see if it's going to work. Okay, perfect. As you can see, the pagination is here. Okay, it works. So that's it for the pagination. I think these stops are too close to each other. let me see how we'll be able to adjust that. Okay, got it. Okay, I think this is fine. Next, we are going to work on editing of the to do. So let's go to the code editor again. Let me quickly go to the. Let me create another method for editing of the to do. I'm going to call it edit to do. Then I'm going to pass the to do ID to it. Let me create another property called edit. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to assign, when a user clicks on the edit button, it is going to assign the ID to this property edit here. So we use it to display the input which the user is going to use to edit the to do that they want to edit. So let's quickly do that. So let me pass this here. Edit equals to do ID. Okay, let's go to the blade file. So let's try to, let me get the use wire, click on the edit button, which is going to call the edit to do method, and we're going to pass the to do ID here. Remember the method we created on the to do component is accepting an argument which is the to do ID. So on the edit we are passing the to do ID to this edit to do method here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to check if we're going to check when the edit property that we created here has the value of the has the ID of the to do that wants to be edited, then we display the input box. So this is how we're going to do that. We're going to use the if statement here. If s and if here. So as you say, if edit is equals to do ID, then show the input box, which is going to let me get the input here. Okay, I'm going to get the input here. First, let me remove this, add it later. So if the edit has the ID of the to do that wants to be deleted, show the input for that to do. So that's it. So let's try and see if this will actually work. Did I save it? Yes, I saved it. Let me refresh. Okay, I'm now click on edit. As you can see, an input box appears. So sorry, this is what we're actually going to do. So let's also work on this button, two buttons. So I want, if you click on edit, this button is going to change to update and cancel. So let's quickly do that here. So these are the two buttons here. So I'm going to still use the if statement. If edit equals to do ID s, use this, and if here. So this place we are going to use the update and cancel. So here we're not going to pass anything. We're going to, for now, we're going to leave it blank. So let's go to the and refresh again and click on it. Okay, as you can see, we now have updates and cancel for this to do. Okay, that's perfect. Next we are going to work on the console. Now when we click on the console, it's going to actually return back to this edit and delete button back. So to do that, we are going to create another method that will actually do that for us. So below this, and let's create a console edit method. This will actually set the edit property to be empty. So let's quickly call this console edit method on the console button. So I think that's it. Refresh, click on edit console. Okay, perfect, it's working. Another thing is that I want to, when you click on edit, as you can see, the whole text or the whole to do that is supposed to be inside this box disappears. So once, if you click on this edit, you still have the buy house here inside, then you edit it. So let's check how you're going to do that. Okay, to do that, I'm going to create another property inside our to do. Let me close this. I'm going to create another property inside here. And I'm going to call it edited to do. So to actually get that, we're going to pass the value of this edited to do. We're going to bind the value with the inputs. Okay, we're going to bind the value here using the wire there. So the value is going to be edited to do. So once the user clicks on this, we're going to actually fetch the to do that was clicked and also fill it on this input. So let's go back to the to do repo. We're going to create another method that will fetch one to do. So let's create a method here called get to do, and we're going to pass the to do ID. So we're going to return. Remember, we still have the auth. If you don't use this and you use a normal to do or model to find the to do, you might mistakenly get another person's to do that is not for the current user that is logged in. So remember to always use the auth to get with a relationship to get the to do that you're looking for, so that you won't mistake another person's to do to another person. So let's use the find method here. So let's find by the to do ID. So we are going to be using this get to do in any place that we need it. So let's go back to the edit to do. Yes, here. So what we're going to do is to actually get the to do this property edited to do, edit to do. Okay, edited to do, sorry, equals to this repo get to do. Remember, we have property, we are looking for the to do, so that's the to do name. So you're going to fill it with this to do. So when the user clicks on the edit, you're going to fill it with this, the value of that to do. So let's click text it and see if it works. So click on edit. Get to do. Oh, sorry, we forgot to pass. I think we're missing an argument. Back here. Okay, I'm supposed to pass the to do ID here. Okay, I think this will fix it. Let's click on it again. Okay, perfect. Okay, click on this. Perfect. Okay, it's actually working. So next we're going to write the method that we update the to do. After the method for updating the to do. So let's head to our close this down. Let me go to the to do repo again. So we're going to create an update function which will accept the to do ID. So this is going to return. Remember, it's using the auth for the current user that is logged in with the relationship, which is to do's. So actually, sorry, first we're going to find the to do that you want to edit. Remember, we already have the get to do method. Then pass the to do ID. And we update the to do here. We call the update method. So the update method is going to do. Okay, sorry, we're going to do this way. I forgot. We are going to first validate the. We're going to validate the data and pass the value that have been validated to here. So we're going to call it data. So remember, when you validate the data or when you validate an input, it's going to return an array of the input. So we're going to now pass the data here, which is an array, to update. Call the update function on it, and this will actually update the record. So next, let's go to the to do. Let's go to the to do component, and we are going to create an update. We need to create an update. Update to do, which will accept the to do ID. And here we are going to also validate the to do. So you're using the same rule that we are using for the this is our edited to do. So we're going to now call the validated. We're going to call the validate this dot validate only, which will be edited to do. After that, we're going to now return this repo, call the update function, which will pass the to do ID and also the data, which is validated. So if you're passing the array of data to this to actually update the data, I think it will throw an error because it's going to look for this field edited to do on the database column and the table column, which is not going to be found. So I think it's going to throw an error. So to fix that, let's use this. Let's call this. Let's spell it out. So to do goes to the data goes to do. Let's just call it to do. Okay, this will actually work. Remember, when the data is being validated, we are going to actually get an array of the validated inputs. So on the validated inputs, the array of data you're looking for is the edited to do. Okay, I think that's it. That's it on this. So let's go back to this wire click. So let's call the update method here, and let's pass the ID of the to do to it. So let's try it out and see. Edit by houses, update, error encoding model to do with ID for to user question detected. Let me check what's actually wrong. Okay, okay, let's go this editor to do. I think that's what the name is causing the whole issue. So we're going to, okay, lastly, next thing we're going to do is we're going to call the cancel edit. After editing it, let me not return anything here. Let's call the cancel this cancel edit method here. Actually return back the state. So let's try it again one more time. Edit, houses, and update. I think it works perfectly. Let me refresh and see if it's actually working. So it's working. Okay, that has been corrected. Next, we are going to work on the delete. So you can actually delete the to-dos. So let's go to the to-do repo again. Let's create the last function, which is delete to-do. We're also going to pass the to-do ID. So to delete, we're going to use first this get to do and pass the to do ID. Remember, I already have that method there, so we're going to be using it. So the method to delete, you're going to call the delete method to actually delete the to do. So I think that's what we're doing here. So let's go to the components. So let's create and method which we delete the to do. Then we're going to pass the to do ID. Now we're going to delete the to do using that method we created on our repository, which is delete. Then we now pass the to do ID to it. Let me check. Okay, we call this delete to do. Sorry, let me just call it delete. I think this will work. So let's go to the bleed file and call the method that we just created and the wire click. Sorry. And to call delete to do. Let's pass it to do ID. So let's try and see if it's going to work. So let's delete this. Okay, perfect, it works. Let's delete this also. It works. So let me refresh. Okay, delete button is working. So lastly, we're going to work on this. When the user mark on the click on the checkbox, is going to mark each delete to be completed. So let's jump back to our code editor and work on that. Okay, to do that, we're going to create another method inside our repo, which we're going to call completed, and it's going to accept an ID to do ID to do. So we're going to look for the to do. First, we're going to get the to do using this method get to do, which we already created. Then pass the ID of the to do. First, this will be like a toggle, so we're going to use the ternary operator to toggle the to do to know when it's completed. So what we're going to do is to return check when to do is completed. Remember, we are using boolean for the to do for the is completed field. So if it is completed, if the to do is true, that means it's completed. Update the to do. The to do field is completed. You set the value to false. Then if it's not completed, means that the user wants to mark it to be true. So let's just copy this and paste it there. Yes, you want to set it to let me get this off. Okay, see what happens here is it's checking for when the to do is completed. Let me say to do that is being passed to this method. If it is completed, then it's going to check it to, it's going to mark the to do to be false, means it's not completed. That's if the user want to uncheck or want to return the to do to the normal state, which is not completed, you check it to be false. Then if the user wants to mark the to do to be completed, means this will be false and it will mark it to be true. So it's just like a toggle. So if it is completed, set it false. If it is not completed, set it true. So that's it. Let me save this and let me go back to this component. So we're going to create another method called mark completed. It's going to accept the to do ID. It's going to return this. There we go. Completed method. We're just going to accept the to do ID. Then this should work. Then on the checkbox, we are going to, I think this is the checkbox, so we're going to use a wire click here. So we're going to call the mark completed method, which we accept a to do ID. So let's go back to our browser and check if it's going to work. So when you click on check, okay, it has marked. So to find out if it has actually checked, we're going to write an if statement here. I'm going to write an if statement here. If to do is completed, pass this checked attribute to this checkbox. Okay, I think this, let me refresh and see. As you can see, it's checked. So if you toggle it again and refresh, it's not going to be checked. If you check this, it's checked. If you toggle it and refresh, it's not going to be checked. So lastly, I want if the to do is completed, it's going to, the text of this to do is going to be green, indicating that it has completed. So to do that, we're going to add a class to this where the to do is being displayed. So we're going to use a span here. Span. Pass this here. So we're going to add the class. Okay, we're going to check if to do is completed, and to add a class. It's going to be a tailwind class, which will be green, 600. Then and if, okay, and this should work. Refresh, check. As you can see, it's green. Refresh is going to stay there. So I think that's it, guys. If you find this tutorial very helpful and informative, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. You can also share to your friends. Thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.